Well, I appreciate you being here and being willing to come on and talk about your experience. We did, I think, 16 weeks together,
Yes.
2 sets of 8. I'd like to kind of just open up the floor and let you introduce yourself, and then also tell everyone why you even reached out to try to get services, and kind of what you were trying to get accomplished.
Cool. So, hi everyone. My name is Alyne. I am actually from Brazil, and I moved to the US late December of last year. And with moving to the US, I was very concerned with the typical weight gain from being this country. Portions are bigger, like lifestyle is it's slippery for it not to be great. So I wanted to make sure that I had some structure around like routines and working out and etc. to so that I started the right way, let's say. I hadn't been working out for quite a long time in a
Mhm.
structured manner. Like I was a runner at some point. With COVID, things got really messy. I sick more with yoga after that than anything else. Um, hadn't worked out in a gym for probably 6 to 7 years, and that's how it all started. So it was like a pre-contingency plan, let's say, like making sure things were on place. And then so we started early January. So yeah, it's been 16 weeks. We did 2 cycles of 8 weeks. The very beginning was both very challenging, but also like I saw results super fast because it's at those first weeks where
Mhm.
you change your habits just a little and you see massive differences. You go back to the gym, you start to sleep
Mhm.
better, to eat better, to you know try to exercise more. And that very beginning was already very rewarding in many ways. Um and then I think moving on, like I was very so like I never had a clear I want to lose weight. I
Mhm.
was more on the like I don't want to gain weight
Mhm.
by being in the US. And actually, I lost weight in the end, so that was great.
Yeah. So you came in, you're trying to stave off stuff in the future, right? Trying to be proactive with not going the wrong direction, especially with our diets being wild in the US. Um, I mean, how easy was it to get into the groove of doing things remote with us from when you started to when do you think you caught your stride?
So I guess like the being remote piece is definitely like a challenge for everybody to overcome. But from the beginning, like I think the communication was also always like super great. Like we would chat almost every day,
Mhm.
either about goals or workouts and etc. Um, from where I started to where I had to go, I would say the beginning was not easy necessarily. We
Mhm.
talked about this, but like I was very far from eating my reaching my protein goals in
Mhm.
nutrition. I was very far from reaching my steps goals. Like I was very much like not eating very well and sedentary. So the very beginning there, like getting traction towards the goals was not necessarily easy, but we were in constant communication trying to come up with new strategies. So all those conversations that we had on, well, maybe like let's try to do the steps in 3 blocks of 2000. Let's try to hit more protein earlier in the day so that later in the day we don't have that pressure anymore. So let's try to increase protein breakfast. So kind of like coming up with those strategies as ways to constantly be improving. So the feedback loop like that we had every week through the forums and the videos were also very helpful because I think that was a great moment to sit back, like look at the week that just happened, like what went well, what didn't, and what are the things that we're going to do different the next 7 days. And we always had like that those 7 days to reassess again and again and again, even when it was not, sometimes it did not feel like a lot of progress. We were trying and we're
Mhm.
trying different strategies and trying to see what would work and what wouldn't, etc. So
Okay. Now, prior to coming in, what did you think was going to be super difficult?
going to the gym,
Okay. Was it super difficult?
it was the easiest.
Going to the
I
gym, what you
thought,
thought
what,
was going to be
yeah,
hardest was actually the easiest?
it was actually the easiest, because when I looked at like my main goals were
Mhm.
hitting the gym, like nutrition, which I was always kind of good at. Like I have a solid, like, you
Mhm.
know, balanced diet, so I did not think that would be too hard, but I realized I was just not eating enough protein. And then the steps, when you look at steps, you're like, well, it's steps, like, that's
Mhm.
not easy to reach. But honestly, through the all of the 16 weeks, the workouts were probably the easiest, because I just put that commitment there. Like Monday, we did Monday, Wednesday, Friday. So I
Mhm.
knew like that's where I will need to go these days.
Mhm.
And with my work schedule and work trips, we would talk on Sunday, and I would be like, hey, Monday, I'm hopping on a plane, I'm doing this. Like I still traveled to Brazil 2 times during that like period,
Mhm.
like I'm going to fly overnight, I'm going to land, and etc. It's not going to work. The days that I have to work out would be Tuesday, Wednesday, and Friday, and we would go in and adapt. So
Mhm.
I thought, because I hadn't been in a gym for so long, that that would be hard, but it was
Mhm.
actually like easy, and we were able to kind of flex it where it needed flexing
Mhm.
and still make it work um, with my schedule. So
Yeah. Did you think prior to coming in that you would be able to still hit your workouts while you were on the road?
that to me was always hard. Like,
Mhm.
first of all, because I was never a gym person. I was not very
Mhm.
familiar with the gym. I didn't
Mhm.
like the gym very much. I thought it was a little intimidating. So the idea of doing it by myself in a hotel, for example, like I just walk in there and I grab weights, I grab dumbbells. That to me
Mhm.
was very intimidating. I was not sure if I was gonna have the motivation to still do it when I was away. And in the beginning, I used to work out with my husband, which, he was way more familiar with the gym, and he was helping
Mhm.
me, guiding me, and etc. And kind of early in the process, he hurt his foot. So I also thought that I was going to be in the gym accompanied, and I wasn't, like for most of the program. Um, so yeah, it's not only like when traveling, I was not very confident on my ability to hit the gym by myself
Mhm.
in general. And I was, and it worked. Like even when traveling, I think there were a couple of times where I was traveling and I did not have access to
Mhm.
good like equipment,
Mhm.
but then we just switched to like, body weight workouts
Mhm.
for two of out of the 3 days and etc. And that still, I could still get those done even if I didn't have anything around me.
Yeah, no, for sure. We were able to adapt, and part of that, in my mind, and I'd love your thoughts on this, comes down to your willingness to communicate back to your coach, right? Because I mean, I can reach out like, "Hey, I know you're traveling Tuesday, Wednesday, Saturday," but having you let me know, "Hey, here's my access," or when I get there, I can let you know, and then us adapting stuff in my mind keeps you on the path for the goals that we have. But did you feel the same way?
Yeah, absolutely. Like I think that communication, I never felt like I need to tell you with a month in advance what my schedule looks
Mhm.
like. No, we could always talk like week by week. And sometimes, even day by day, I would be like, hey, we scheduled this for Monday, but like now it's Monday and it looks
Mhm.
very busy. Can we push it to Tuesday and then push everything so that it reaccommodates in the week?
Yeah.
So I felt that that was always very like flexible and very adjustable. And it definitely makes it easier to stick to.
Heck yeah. So, like, kind of the last thing here for anyone that's watching this, male, female, coming to the U.S., already in the U.S., sedentary with zero experience, like any of these kind of things that people might say is like, oh man, she could do it, but I can't because of X, Y, Z. I mean, what would you say to someone that was where you were 16 weeks ago?
You can do it. I mean, I think easy and simple. It's like we can do whatever we set our minds to. It's not always going to be easy. It's not always going to be simple. Like, even with everything that we're talking about now, like, out of the 16 weeks, like, we had steps goals from day one. And it took me more than half of the program to really get those ingrained
Mhm.
into my routines and what I was doing. So I think persistence is key, like really not losing sight of your goals and not giving up, like coming up with new strategies and, trying new things until you really get there. Because I think if you really want to do it, you can do it. It's again, it's not necessarily going to be easy. It's not going to happen on week 1 or week 2, with us. Few things didn't happen until week 10, but they
Mm-hmm.
still happen. Like we managed to get, each one of those things as truly a part of my routine, like moving forward. Like I don't see, just because one day I stop working with you, I will stop doing those things.
Mm-hmm.
They're truly like a part of my daily habits now.
Yeah. So get done with 16 weeks, didn't want to gain weight, actually lost 5 pounds. And then on top of that, have a much different composition than you came in with. And you feel like you legitimately have the skills to go out and do this on your own now?
Yeah, absolutely. Like we joked about it, right? Like
Mm-hmm.
you teach us so well that it gets to a point where we don't need you in a
Mm-hmm.
way. But
Yeah.
I really feel like I have that freedom and independence to go into the gym and do a
Mm-hmm.
workout today. Like I don't even need, my phone after the
Mm-hmm.
16 weeks. I definitely don't necessarily need my phone to go into the gym and do a workout. Like I kind of memorize them and I
Mm-hmm.
know which like exercises are for which parts of my body and etc.
Yeah.
So I definitely feel like I learned a lot there.
That's beautiful. Beautiful. I really appreciate you making the time. We'll end it there on the recording, but don't go anywhere. And yeah, I really appreciate you making the time. It means a lot.
Thank you